Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me. It's UK independent demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.com. And I have a live with about 1 million techniques in it today because I just couldn't stop creating. I was having one of those creative days. I just haven't stopped. So this one is partial die cutting. It also has a vellum inner card. And then I've also done some punching, some heat embossing, you name it, it's on this card. So I'm just going to go and find the video over on my YouTube channel so that I can chat along with you and see who else is here. Let me know if you're here. I was actually crafting along, making this morning. One of my friends was live over on Facebook and she was using the same suite, and I thought, oh, great minds think alike. And it was because at the time it was incredibly sunny. If I'd have known that at 4 o'clock we'd have had snow, I probably wouldn't have continued crafting with the ice creams. But there we go. Hello, Karen. Hope you're okay. Hello, Sheila. Morning from Southern California. Oh, very nice. I bet you haven't got snow. Right, so I'm using the Sweet Ice Cream bundle today. So I've got the photopolymer stamp set. I've got the coordinating punch and the delightful 12 by 12 papers, which actually are my favourite part of the whole suite because they are just, they're lush. They're really nice. And this is the paper that I'm going to be using today. It has got the ice cream cones on, and over on the other side it has got the sprinkles, and that's the side that I'm going to be using, although it was a very tough choice because I'm not going to lie, those ice creams do look really appealing to me. So there we go. And the card I'm going to make on the live is going to be a slightly different colour. So I've done this one in So Saffron, but the DSP that we're using has lots of different colour in it. So the card I'm going to make this afternoon is going to be mint macaron, which is lovely. So I thought they would look quite nice next to each other. Hi, Colleen. Hope you're okay. Oh, I hear you got your catalogue this week. I know, isn't it lovely? Every page I was like, ooh, I'm ready for some new stuff. Hiya, Cindy. Morning. Karen, what do I mean I have snow? I have snow. It's snowing right now. I think it's Donna's fault because when she was doing her live earlier and she kept saying about the sun and barbecues, she just tempted fate and the snow came. Hiya, Janice. Hope you're all right. Hiya, Alison. Hiya, Audrey. Right, let's get going. So this card, as I said, it features some partial die cutting, which I always like. It gives you a extra use of your dies. So what that means is instead of getting a full circle at your die, you can get a part one, and it works for any dies. So if you had a leaf or a flower, you can do the same effect. So I'm going to show you how I put this card together. So first of all, you're going to need your trimmer and whichever cardstock you're going for. Now, I'm playing with A4, but if you're in the States, you can just split your cardstock in half and fold it in half, okay? So I'm going to cut this down so it's in half, and that's 14.85 centimetres. And then I'm going to score it at 10.5 to make my normal card base. There we go. And then if I just grab my bone folder and burnish that. That there is my usual card. So I'm just going to put that to the side for a moment. And I'm going to focus on the front layer now. So as I said, this was 10.5 centimetres. And I don't know whether you'll see, but the front layer has just got a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this bit down at 10 centimetres. So you will notice that when I put it over the top of the card like that, you've just got a gap on each side and at the bottom. So it's quite a nice little gap there. Okay, the dies that I'm using are the layering circles dies. I've actually took mine out of the packet and I store them in one of these envelopes. These are A5 envelopes from Q Connect, and I get the A5 magnetic shim. And so as soon as I get dies, I pop them straight into one of these envelopes, and then I have a storage folder which I can just go through to get which ones I want. So for the circle, I am using this one here, which is the largest circle. And then, where's my card? You'll notice I have another circle on top. So for that one, I used the next one in. Okay, so it's the largest and the second largest that you want out. I'm only getting that out in advance because later on I'll be looking for it. So I'm just going to pop that on the front top of my table up there so I remember where it is. Now I'm hoping this will work because I do have the mini cut and emboss machine, which is lovely. That sits on my desk and I can use that on my desk quite nicely. However, my cardstock is too big for it, so I do have to use my Big Shot, and I'm really hoping that I can fit that on the table and not knock the camera. So if I knock the camera, apologies in advance, but I do need to show you what I'm doing. So what you want to do is when you've got your sandwich, so you've got your plate, so your base and your plate, you then want to play with your mint macaron card base that you've just used, okay? So if I bring this one in to show you, you want to let this circle hang off. Okay, so that halfway across that plate is where the other half of your circle is. So you want to work out here how much of a gap you want. So I probably want about that much. This is going to be on the card and that's going to be waste. Pop this in the middle and pop it on the edge of my sandwich like that. I can then run it through and the bit that's hanging off won't cut, but the bit that's on will. Hopefully that's understandable and you could see it. If not, please just let me know if I was off screen, if it doesn't sort of, you know, capture it. So I'm just running that through. And you'll see that it's given me my half circle, but the bit that was hanging off hasn't cut. So that's exactly how I wanted it. I'm just going to move that to the side and bring my trimmer back in. Okay. So now I'm just going to line up this edge and this edge in my trimmer. And I'm going to take my blade to there and cut that bit off. Lift up, take my blade over to that side and cut that bit off. So once I've finished, if I've cut in the right place, which I don't think I have. Oh, I have. I should have my bit there. And that's ready to go on top of my card. Like that. And I've got half my circle. So you can do that with any of your dies. It will work and it will then make, you know, you get 2 or 3 uses out of dies that way because you can make loads of different shapes. Before I go any further, I am just going to run this circle die through my die machine as well, using the confetti paper so that I can get this circle all ready and then I can just put my die machine away. So if I just grab that back, move my card out of the way. Pop that in. Whoever's watching and has noticed that I, like a complete nitwit, have put the handle the other side of my desk. You are correct. I have done that. Totally organised, me. Totally organised. Right. There we go. Run that through. Doing well. Hi, Audrey. Why is Karen calling you Karen? You changed your name. Oh, Cindy missed one of the ink pads off her order. Which one did you miss? So there you are. Now you'll see that that just fits quite nicely in there. So then what you want to do with your card is you want to measure how long you left this. So if I just put that in there, I can see that it is, actually I'm going to cut it down. So it's 6.5, which will make it a lot easier for me because I like things to be easy. So if that's 6.5, I want to cut this down at 7 centimetres. So 7 centimetres. Cut that there. And cut that there. So that my card can now have that bit go over the top. Okay, and that's what will create the frame of my card. So then for the inside bit, I've used some vellum and I want to make a vellum card. So I'm going to cut that at 14.85, exactly the same measurements as I did for my mint macaron. And I'm going to score this at 10.5. Now, when you score in your vellum, you want to score it a lot softer than you score your paper. Don't really score it like you do your cardstock. And then because the vellum, which I found out earlier, is actually, oh, it's not. Do you know the piece of vellum I used earlier was bigger than my A4 cardstock? So I must have, it was a scrap piece, but I must have picked it up and gone the wrong way with the cut-in. So you just want to fold that down. Be nice and gentle because you don't really want to crack your vellum too much. Okay. And then that will sit in that side there to create your card. So I'm just going to trim that down. It looks like my blade must be coming to an end. I don't know whether you can see. It's a bit scaggy at the ends. Normally when it gets like that, I need a new blade, which is very simple to change. But I keep my blades under my table and I don't really want to be diving under there on a live for you. So there you go. 4 bits and pieces. All right. So now we want to do some stamping. You want whichever colour of the cardstock you're using's ink. So I'm going to be using mint macaron. And I'm using, well, you have the choice. You either have the confetti or you have the little dots. I'm using the little dots because I love those. Oh, I've already put them on a block. See, I was organised today. I've got all my blocks lined up at the side of my desk. Organised, organised. So for this, you want to stamp over your card. So tone on tone stamping, like that. Okay. And then you want to do exactly the same on the vellum. Now be careful with this because it does take a bit of time to dry. So you want to make sure that once you've stamped it onto your vellum, you see you're going to get like a little, hopefully you can see. No, the light's not great up there. And just go over the vellum. But don't rub your hands over it for a bit, otherwise it will smudge and then you'll get to a bit of a mess. So just pop that onto the side to dry. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to do the heat embossing because you don't want to do the heat embossing once you've stuck papers and bits and pieces on. So for the heat embossing, you're going to want a larger block and you're going to want your circle. So I'm using with sprinkles on top here and you'll see it's a straight sentiment. So what you want to do is you want to line it up at the bottom of your circle, and then you want to just take the edges and roll it around the circle. And because it's photopolymer, you can bend this and stick it into the right place. And if you follow the circle round, then it will look right when you put it on the card, because you're going to be putting it underneath that exact same circle. Okay, so some Versamark and your embossing buddy. Balance your circle on there so you can see where it's going, but you don't want to have stuck it yet, otherwise you're going to get into trouble with the powder and it will go all over the place. It's a lot easier if you do this before you've stuck it down. Ink it up over the top and stamp. With sprinkles on top. So I'm going to be using my heat tool, so turn me down if you've got me on loud, because otherwise I'm going to be blowing your ears out. Hang on. I'm not sure. My cord doesn't reach very far onto my new desk. So now you've done that, we can start building. Oh, Cindy, you missed the freezer out. That one looks lovely. So we do have 5 new in colours coming up. If you're in the UK and you're wondering, I am going to be running my in colour club again. So as soon as my catalogues arrive, which should be Tuesday, I'll be popping them in the post to anyone who has spent with me in the last 12 months with the details of my in colour club. If you do want a copy of the catalogue and you haven't spent with me in the last 12 months and you want to see that, and you also want to see the details for the in colour club, just leave me a message and I will get it out to you. Oh, my strip of white. So I put a strip of white here. Now that is it's not a mistake, but it's there for a reason, over the fact that I only had this much of the white twine left and I couldn't wrap it round and do a bow. So I decided to use a basic white, my ruler, and the coordinating Stampin' Up marker, so mint macaron. And then all I did was, this is about 1 centimetre wide. I just run a few strips along here to create my own ribbon that would go, because I like having ribbons on these sort of projects, but I didn't have a ribbon that would really go. And as I've just shown you, I was well out on twine, so there we go. So I just popped a bit of detail on that. Very straight, as you can tell, but it was just to give it some sort of interesting bit, really. So pop some glue across there. And just across there. And then I'm going to pop my DSP on top. I know you could have it either way, couldn't you? It seems like really wicked to be covering this part up because it's just so lovely, but unfortunately, you can only pick one side. Okay, so I'm just going to grab my card from earlier and grab my vellum. So there is the card and the vellum, which is now dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that on there and stick it down. Don't put the glue at the top here because that doesn't actually mix that. So there we go. Hi Kay. Hope you're all right. And then my little bow ready to put on in a bit. While I've got the little piece of twine out, I'm going to actually put the bow on before I lose the twine and worry where it is. And then, yeah, I'm going to have to order myself some more of this. This one actually came in the snail suite, so there was 2 different types of twine in that, and I grabbed it from there. So if you're looking in the catalogue just for white twine on its own, that's where it was. And considering I've moved, so I haven't been crafting, and I only got my order delivered in January, you can see how much I've loved the white twine by the fact it's gone already. Right. So now you want to pop the vellum in. When you're using vellum, it's very hard to stick it down because you can often see where you're sticking it. So if you notice on the inside, even though I've stuck the vellum card in, I have put the DSP over the top, and I've also put a sheet of basic white for you to write your sentiment on over the top as well. So it didn't matter to me as much as to where I was sticking the vellum. And then across there. And stick that on. Okay, so that's what I mean. You can see where you stuck it. So that is where I have my DSP to put in there and my piece of Whisper White to put in there. So I'm just going to cut this down. 10 centimetres by 14.35 centimetres. Like that. And the reason why I've put the vellum in is because I think it creates a really interesting, you can still see the DSP through, but you can definitely still see this 3D on top. And I just really like that effect. So then I've got some Whisper White that I can put in there. And what did I say I'd cut that out? Was it 6.5? I think it was 6.5 if I remember right. We're soon going to find out that it wasn't 6.5. But I think it was. Oh, there you go. Not bad. Not bad memory. And then we're just going to finish it by decorating the front. So I've got some scrap basic white. I have my ice cream, which I'm going to stamp with mint macaron. And I'm just going to take a look at the punch so I can get this in the right position for the punch. So I want it that way. And I've got Bermuda Bay, slightly darker, but not too dark. And I've got the hundreds and thousands bit that I mentioned earlier that I'm just going to pop onto there like that. Line it up and punch it out. So there's the top of the ice cream. For the bottom of the ice cream, Sahara sand and my cone, which for some reason I keep calling a flag even though I know it's a cone. I'm just going to stamp that there and punch it out. Okay, I also want a slight piece of basic white for the sentiment. So I have used the sentiment "You're So Cool," and I want my mint macaron again. And I'm just chopping that and I'm flagging it. This is my most overused way of doing sentiments. I'm always making them into little flags. Okay, so then pop the lid on that before I get my arm in it. I'm just building my card up, so some dimensionals. I'm going to put a dimensional on the top of my cone, which I know looks strange, but that is so I can get the ice cream on it. And so it sits up 3D. And then I'm just going to turn it over, pop another dimensional on top of that one, and one down the bottom there. Pop one on me sentiment. Onto there. Glue dot behind my twine. Like that. And then my favourite little resin hearts, and I'm using the white ones here. The only problem I've got with the resin hearts, because I do actually love them, is trying to work out when they're on you take the pick tool, whether they're the right way. And because they don't all sit the right way up on the actual sheet here, they're all mismatched all the way around. I sometimes end up putting them onto my card mismatched, so you do need to pay attention to that. But I'm just dropping a few on the card. And then my rhinestone basic jewels, the little ones, popping one underneath each of the hearts to finish it off with some bling. Hiya Donna, I was just saying how you didn't, well, I say you'd inspired me, but I'd actually got the ice cream set on my desk this morning already. So then when I saw you were using your live, I was like, yes, that is the one I want to use. But I also said how you fated the snow coming. So Donna made a really lovely sort of 3 or 4 fold out step card this morning on her Facebook Live, Taffy Crafting. So if you've got this set and you're looking for more inspiration, do go over and check what Donna made. Oh, I'm sorry you've got a cold, Michaela. I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, Cindy. Well, anyone actually that's watching, if you pick up the 5 ink pads together for the ink colours, you do get a discount. The same as if you actually buy any of the full packs. So if you buy all of the subtles or all of the brights, yeah, there's a little bit of a discount. The same discount as you get really if you buy the stamp and the punch together. You get sort of a 10% bundle then. So there we go. That's my card. What's your favourite colour? I always love So Saffron, so I want to say it's So Saffron, but actually I think Mint Macaron stole it on this occasion. But it just looks really... While I think it looks nice like that, you need to pop it on a table and wait until later. And then as you put sort of a lamp on behind it or whatever, you'll get another effect come through, and it comes through the vellum then, and it just looks really nice. And it will pick up then this very fine stamp detail that we put on it. So hopefully you liked it. Colleen likes the minty colour too. Yeah, it just, I don't know why, it just screams out to me. Yeah, I don't think, no, I do actually. I like mint ice cream. Maybe that's why. Mint chocolate chip. Oh, I should have done the sprinkles in a chocolate colour. Oh well, good plans at the end. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you've enjoyed. If you do want to purchase any of the products, you can get them from www.slimandstylish.stampinup.net. Please, if you've enjoyed the video, drop me a little thumbs up, and I'll see you all again next Sunday. All right, have a lovely week, everybody. See you all soon. Bye.